My daughter recommended this TV show for me, and she said I should review it. Hello, everybody. I'm Zakaria, the ghostwriter. I must give credit to Ubaba Mbuzo Koza. He did an awesome job. That soundtrack is amazing. And I must also give credit to Umama Tandeka Don King. She did a great job. Her narration was awesome. I really enjoyed her, narration. The one and only Mkabayi. Now, let's talk about the TV show. And I like, the opening scene when they started by giving us a young Shaka. He was a brave young man. He connected well with animals. But he had a cousin by the name of Makedam. He is just something else. He doesn't respect people. He kept on asking Shaka, what kind of a prince are you who is a coward? You should be brave. So he decided to take Shaka alongside his friends to a tree which was surrounded by bees. He told him that if he wants to prove that he is a real prince, he should get honey for them from that honey tree. And Shaka had no choice but to go there and get honey. His hand was surrounded by bees, and he decided to send or summon those bees towards those guys who were abusing him. Maketama, he is just one of those cousins who doesn't take no for an answer, because he was teasing Shaka by saying, Shaka, you're a coward. We know that you want to run under your mom's gate. We know that you want to call your mom. Shaka had no choice but to prove himself. Sometimes in life, you have to prove to people. You have to show people that you say who you say you are. That scene was awesome because Shaka, for the first time, he's shown that he can defend himself, and he has proven himself that he is not afraid. He's not a coward. He can face whatever challenges that he is dealing with in life. I liked that opening scene. It was a great scene, and we have seen Nandi showing up after Maketama and friends were screaming after they were attacked by bees. Nandi thought maybe Shaka has been attacked by Maketama and friends. I like that scene. It shows that Nandi was always behind Shaka. Nandi was always making sure that she's there to protect her only son. After that opening scene, they took us back to when Nandi was still a virgin. And we have seen her gelling so well with her best friend, Pitlile. Nandi loved swimming. She went to the river with her best friends. I can say maidens. And this one, Pitlile, became very close to her. And she decided to jump to the water and start swimming. Girls were not allowed to do that during those days. But Nandi was just a different type of a person. She just wanted freedom. And we have seen when her brother, Mugabe, showing up and telling her that she is not allowed to do that. And she said to him, she just slipped and she fell inside the river and she will come out. She was saying that with respect, but jokingly, you can tell that, she just respects him because of he's the prince, and other maidens, they must show him the same respect. And he told them to go home. They shouldn't behave like frogs, jumping in and out of water. They were like, smiling because of Nandi repeated exactly what he said when he was calling those maidens frogs. And later on, we have seen when Nandi was talking to her mother, and her mother was reminding her that, she should get ready because of they have to go to her cousin's wedding. And she decided to tell her also that she won't be going there alone. She will be with Nduna Manzini, a warrior of Elangeni, simply because of, they heard that people from the north, Zwide and others, they are busy terrorizing people and they are stealing livestock. And that's when they met Senzangakhona on their way to the cousin's wedding. And Senzangakhona, loved Nandi. He was on his way from his hunting trip and he managed to kill an animal. So they were singing, they were happy when they see a group of ladies walking with Obaba Zungu. He wanted to know who are they, and he was introduced by his main man, Dlabetlezi, who let those maidens know that they are in the presence of greatness because they are talking with Senzangakhona, the son of Jama. And we have seen also Nandi being introduced as the princess of Elangeni. And right there, that's when they connected. That's when they fell in love with each other. I wanted to speak about this a bit because of this is the key moment in this episode 1. And this moment is the moment that carried us all the way to episode 12, the finale. Because this was the confirmation of the type of man that Nandi wanted. When she was with her maidens, when they were at the river and she jumped, she asked them to jump so that they can both swim. They said no. You know we are not allowed to do that. And just imagine what your husband will say once your future husband discover that you used to come to the river and jump here. And she said, if my husband cannot be brave enough to deal with a girl like me, that means he doesn't qualify to date me, the princess of Elangeni, the daughter of Mbengi. So clearly, she is telling them that I need a husband who is going to be brave enough. I don't need a coward. And when she met Senzangakhona and they started talking, it was a confirmation because she understood that this is the type of man that I can look at and say, that's my husband. You know, he started asking questions if maybe she's taken. And that's when the other lady said, you know, you are late because of she's already promised in another family that she will be umakoti there. And Senzangakhona said, as long as they haven't, you know, paid lobola, that means we can also go and state our case because of I want to marry this beautiful lady. Now, when they were busy, you know, talking, that's when Babu Zungu was saying Senzangakhona is wasting their time because where they're going is far, and Senzangakhona wanted to know when are they coming back. The other maiden, that's when told Senzangakhona that they will come back in some couple of days. And we have seen them coming back from the wedding as they were, you know, talking about, you know, Senzangakhona. And when they were coming back from the wedding, Babu Zungu wanted to rest. We have seen him taking a nap. And the girls wanted to go to the river again so that they can go and bath because Nandi loves swimming. And that's when they came across Senzangakhona with his men again and they started talking. When Baba Zungu showed up, he was angry for Senzangakhona talking to Nandi without his permission. He felt like, you know, this guy has so much power in a way that he is even disrespecting the kingdom of Elangeni, whereby he can just speak with the princess whenever he wants to speak with her, however he wants to speak with her. So he felt like Elangeni kingdom was being disrespected and he wanted to discipline Senzangakhona. But Nandi defended Senzangakhona, and Senzangakhona also wanted to apologize by giving them an animal that they just killed. Remember, the first time when they met, Senzangakhona went hunting and he was carrying an animal. So even this time when they meet again, Senzangakhona is with his men and they are carrying an animal that they killed. So he said to show a token of respect, he wants to apologize with what they just killed. And obviously, Nandi said it will be best if we accept his apology, and Senzangakhona send men to go and get that animal so that he can come and give that animal to Abantu baselangeni to show his token of appreciation and also respect. But because of they had to wait for longer for men to bring that animal, that's when Nandi decided to speak with her best friend Pihlile that they should go to the river and swim. They asked Baba Zungu agreed, and he said, no, they can go as long as they don't go far. And he wanted to have, some people who will protect them, but they said they don't want men next to them because of they're going to bath. Obviously, during that time, men were respecting women a lot, and they couldn't allow, another man to be standing there and watching a lady bathing. And that's when the two left to the river. But that's when they met, people from the north. They met Zwide, Ka Langa, and his crew, who just came back from a victory. They raided a village where they took the livestock, and they also killed the leader of that place, who happened to be Soshangane's father. Now, they were on their way to the river to bath, and they were surprised to see Nandi and her best friend. And obviously, one thing that came to Zwide's mind was to rape them. He ordered his men to go in the river so that they can hold Nandi and her friend. Zwide had a foreman crew which was well respected, well feared by many people in the south, led by himself, Zwide, Ka Langa, and he had Qinisani, Qija, and Luhleko. They jumped into the river to hold Nandi and her friend. And that's when Senzangakhona showed up to defend them. Zwide already made his choice. He wanted to be with Nandi. But it didn't end the way he wanted everything to end, because he had to face Senzangakhona. Senzangakhona is not a match to Zwide Ka Langa. That was clear. But while they were wrestling, Qinisani was killing Senzangakhona. Senzangakhona managed to grab a stone from the river, and he hit Qinisani on the head with that stone. Qinisani died. Now, Zwide Ka Langa and his crew, they focused on Qinisani because everyone was fighting. They stopped fighting and they went there to rescue or to save Qinisani, but they were already late. Zwide got angry. He took the spear, threw it at the direction of Nandi and Senzangakhona. Unfortunately, one of Senzangakhona's guys got hurt. Zwide didn't care who was going to be hurt. He didn't care who was going to be killed by that spear, because of he wanted to avenge for his main man, his brother, Qinisani. Senzangakhona told Nandi to run for safety, because of he knew that he cannot win a fight against Zwide. Zwide caught up with them. Lucky good enough, Baba Zungu arrived and he defended Senzangakhona and Nandi. And that's when he told Zwide that you are trespassing. You know you are not supposed to be this side. And in that way, Senzangakhona's life was spared, and also Nandi's life was saved. But Zwide Ka Langa, he was very angry, and he told Senzangakhona that all actions has consequences. Don't forget that. This is not over. You are going to pay for what you did to my brother Qinisani. Episode 1 was very deep, because after Senzangakhona was saved by Baba Zungu, he has to go home and talk to his father, Jama. And he told his father what happened. And, his father understood that Amadwandwe will come back. They will want to, revenge the death of, their warrior. And that's when he decided to call, a meeting there with Mkabayi, including Senzangakhona, to see a way of resolving this problem. And Senzangakhona said, I think the best way to resolve this problem, it will be to form alliances through marriage. And he believed that, that will unite the South so that they can face the North with strength. Obviously, it was a great idea, but Mkabayi, had to say something that, my brother is saying this simply because of he have seen a flower at Elangeni. That's why he's giving us these great advices. And the father, I love the respond when he said, it's clear that when we depart, those who follow us will rule with their hearts. Once they love something, that will be the decision. They cannot sit down and think ahead. And he also mentioned that, the problem about Nandi is because of Nandi's mom is from the kingdom of Kwabe. So they worked so hard to cut ties between the two kingdoms. So if Senzangakhona wants to go back and marry Nandi, that means there will be, it will be like they've done nothing all these years, because now there will be a family again. And they don't want to associate themselves with the Kwabis. And that's when he got very angry. He started, throwing this spear because he was very angry. And Mahole told him that soon you will be the king. And once you are the king, then you will do what you like. And I like how Jama, the king, told him that, what, I'm telling you right now that when you are ready to get married, your sister, Mkabai, is the one who is going to choose a woman for you. And you can see how Mkabai is smiling because he knows that this guy wants to marry Nandi, but we have other plans because of what we do. We do what's best for our nation. We do what's best for our people, not because of we feel like, this guy loved that woman so much, but we want him to marry the woman which will bring alliance, a woman who comes from the family which has more things, and our people cannot starve because of now we chose the wrong person to marry my brother who will be the next king. The king, Jama, he also told the respected man in this kingdom, the great prince, to go and apologize to Amadwandwe about what happened for his son's action. And he also ordered that men should also protect the kingdom because Amadwandwe can come back anytime because of they are hungry. And the more the drought keeps going, is the more dangerous they will become, and they will take everything that they get. But he was not even welcome to Amadwandwe's. The response he got is that it will be an eye for an eye. On the other side, we have seen that Zwide decided to take his crew back to Egudunkomo, the Ndwandwe Palace, so that they can go and bury his warrior Qinisani. He wanted him to be buried alongside his forefathers. He wanted him to be buried to the land of his ancestors. He didn't want him to be buried in the foreign land. And we have seen that when they were releasing his soul using a knife, they saw that there was someone who has been following them, only to find out that it's Soshangani, a child who was, or a boy who was in charge of the livestock when Zwide and his men were raided that village. He's the one who his father was killed, the leader of that place. So he has been following them all along so that he can avenge his father. Unfortunately, he was caught before he can finish his mission. So Zwide wanted to know who is he with and why is he following him. But Soshangani responded by saying, all actions has consequences. I am here to kill you. Zwide ordered Qija to give the young man spear so that he can do what he said he is here to do. But unfortunately, he failed to kill Zwide, because when he threw the spear at him, he said, you killed my father. Zwide managed to duck and he pressed that young man to the ground. And he said, I will give you two options. It's either I'm going to do you what you said you want to do to me, or the second options, you can go with us so that I can train you how to get a revenge the right way. And the reason why he gave him two options is because of that young man said the same line that Zwide said to Senzangakhona when he told Senzangakhona that all actions has consequences. You killed my man, Qinisani, so I'm going to kill you too. So when this young boy is saying those lines to Zwide Ka Langa, understood that this young boy, he is brave enough and he has the same motive that I have. And if I trained him, that means he will be loyal. Zwide was surprised by the anger of his father, Langa, when he arrived at the Amadwandwe palace. Because his mom, Ntombazi, she gave an order to Zwide so that he can go out and find something for the community. But the father didn't know about it. So the father was angry that he break out the treaties that he had with the South. He was not happy at all that he decided to jump the borders to go and hunt on the other side. But you know, Zwide made it clear that treaties mean nothing when our people are dying from hunger. It means nothing. So I should go out there and find something for our people. It wasn't easy because of they have to go back and forth. And at the end, the father told him that if you can ever cross that river again, I am going to kill you with my hands. Now, after they spoke, Zwide and the father, that's when we have seen the father go into Ntombazi, Zwide's mother, who has been accused to be a witch. And he spoke with Ntombazi. And he told Ntombazi that you disrespected me. You ordered Zwide to go to the south and break treaties that we had with the south. And now it's a problem because of he is disobeying me because of what you told him. And Ntombazi made it clear that Zwide couldn't sit and let your people die. He had to make a plan so that the community can keep going. We had droughts all these years. I'm not the one who said you must go and disrespect King of Amadwandwe so that he will later on curse us in a way that we cannot have rain. And the father was angry at Ntombazi. And he said, don't you dare speak about that. That means there is war between the Amadwandwes and Amadwandwe. And that's why they have drought. But Langa was so angry and he said, let me tell you something. Zwide will never be a king. No child from your womb will be a king. I'd rather give that throne to Ngondo. And Ntombazi got very angry when the king said, tonight things will change. That means he's going to make changes. That means it's either Zwide will be killed or Ntombazi will be killed. And Ntombazi said, we will see. We will see. I mean, that night, izinto zashintsha. Things has changed because now Ntombazi has to show her powers that she wants her son, Zwide, to become the king. And she went to the mountain. There is a cave in that mountain where she has her firstborn son, a firstborn child who is older than Zwide, who was supposed to be the king. But unfortunately, he has a body which he is disabled. And the father, he is saying I don't father goblins. Because remember, back in the days, it was not allowed to have a child who is mentally disturbed or maybe who is crippled. So the king said the child must be fed to animals. But Ntombazi decided to take that child and hide the child in the cave. And she every night go there to feed the child and to make sure that the child is well taken care of. There is the other person who stays with the child there to make sure that that child grow up in the cave. And that child is the biological brother of Zwide. It's Ntombazi's firstborn. Here he is. So the one who is behind is the protector. Is the one who goes to war for this child who is named Goloza. Goloza is something else. Goloza can sense. Goloza know how to summon hyenas to go and attack people. Goloza can speak with birds. Goloza, he has the ability to send birds to different places, and those birds will be spy and bring messages. He is that guy, and his dream is to live lavish in the palace, to serve alongside his brother who will one day become the king. And Ntombazi promised him that once the drought ends, once it's raining, you are going to go out and enjoy life and be with your older brother Zwide. She is feeding him with all the information, and he is super excited. He can't wait to serve next to his younger brother Zwide Ka Langa. But the father doesn't accept him. The father, he is saying he's a goblin and he is not, accepting him. And the attacker, the way he is, this TV show, man, he is no longer a human because he even eat flesh. So all people who goes in that cave trying to attack Goloza, he is the one who goes all out for Goloza and make sure that Goloza is safe in the cave. Now Ntombazi was followed by the servant of the king. And that person informed the king that Ntombazi went to the cave. The king followed her, and this was the exact look when Goloza see his father after many years. The problem was that his father didn't want to accept him. And that's when we saw Ntombazi talking to Langa, telling Langa that this is the son that you didn't want to accept. He's been living here all these years. He has been raised by animals. And they are still taking care of him till this day. They are still protecting him. And Langa was accusing Ntombazi for being a witch. And now, since his trusted man was killed in the cave by this other guy who was protecting Goloza, the king had no choice but to answer questions. And that's when Ntombazi said, Goloza, say goodbye to your father. And he watched his father being killed by the hyenas. On the other side, the servant of the king went back to tell Zwide Ka Langa that this is what happened yesterday. And already they took the body of the king back to the palace. And they came there to identify the body, of course. And they wanted to know who did that. Of course, Zwide said it's the hyena. unless if Ngondo had other suspicious and he has other information of who might have done that. And we have seen how they carried on with the funeral. One person has to be, killed also. I don't use the other word. Has to be killed so that we'll go with the king. Obviously, one of the trusted men, they have to twist his neck. Now, that's when Zwide made sure to tell Grisha that, this day will come also to you. When I die, you will have to go with me. That's how things are done in the north. And we have seen Ngondo questioning the death of Langa. And he called the uncles so that they can have a meeting. He had this other person who was a witness who saw Ntombazi go into that cave. And that person said, yes, it's true, I saw Ntombazi go into the cave. And the only solution that they must have is if they will take the queen to a traditional method of judging if the person is guilty or not guilty. They call it omhlahlo, whereby they will give you a drink, and if you are innocent, that drink is not going to kill you. But if you are guilty and you are telling lies, that drink will kill you. And we have seen the family agreeing that Ntombazi must be taken to that. It's like more of a royal court type of a thing, whereby the Hebs are the ones who are going to judge. The ancestors are the ones who are going to judge you for what you did. If you're innocent, that's fine. If you don't die, that means you are innocent. But if you are guilty, we will see you dying. And that's when we have seen Ntombazi performing a certain trick by putting something in her so that that drink cannot damage her inside. That's the trick that she did. On the other side, we have seen that Elangeni, there was a ceremony where there was this other gentleman who comes from the wealthy kingdom. He wanted to ask the hand in marriage of Nandi. And she didn't like him at all. She didn't like him at all. She was surprised by his physique, the way he looks. He is chubby, he has a huge stomach. She couldn't put that in her head that she will be that gentleman's wife. She wanted senzangakhona. She wanted her man, and she didn't understand who this guy is. And her best friend was telling her that we hear that this man comes from a wealthy kingdom. That kingdom is more wealthier than the Zulu kingdom where senzangakhona comes from. And we saw how happy Mugabe is. He wanted this gentleman to marry Nandi because he knew that his kingdom will benefit a lot from that marriage. And when Nandi was not impressed by that, that's when they started fighting, because he couldn't understand why are you not marrying this guy? This guy is here, they're giving us what we want, our people cannot starve, and you are saying no. They got frustrated because now Nandi wants to go to be with senzangakhona. And people from the Zulu palace, they've been working very hard to make sure that they distance themselves from people of Elangeni. Simply because of people who are at Elangeni, they are connected with the Kwabis. Remember, Nandi's mom was married at Elangeni to the Mhlongo kingdom, but she's a princess from the Kwabi. So the children are doing what their hearts want. They are not even following what the elders are telling them. That's where the problem began. But obviously everything has to continue because of Nandi's mom reminded her that you must marry him for the sake of your people. If you don't do that, people will starve here. So it's not the matter of the heart. It's doing what is best for people. And she wanted to know why can't we just choose? Why women can't choose? And that's what the mom said, you can't choose because you're a princess. You can't be married by anybody. You must go and be umakoti to another royal family since you come from the royal family. And the last scene of this episode 1 was epic. It was just something else. When this gentleman who came from the Zulu kingdom, he was sent by Jama to go and apologize for what Senzangakhona did. He didn't know that the Ndwandwes were mourning the death of Langa. Zwide was angry in a manner that he couldn't allow the Zulus to live. He decided to kill all the other people who were accompanying this gentleman. And when the king heard about the news, because the manner that he did that was brutal, and he said, go and tell the king that the new treaty we are going to have, it's called eye for an eye. He used this weapon, which is like an iron rod, and he crushed their skulls. And he wiped their blood on beard of this other gentleman who was sent by King Jama to send a message that go and tell your king that the new treaty is eye for an eye. The king got ill immediately. He got sick. And when the war comes, because he knew that the war was coming, he had no choice but to tell Senzangakhona to go and hide, because Zwide is coming. And Zwide made sure that a spear from the Ndwandwes won't discriminate. It will enter a woman, a child, man, everybody will feel that spear. He is willing to kill everyone and take the land, including their livestock. And the old man couldn't digest that. He couldn't see him surviving after everything which is going on. He knew exactly that there is absolutely no way he can defeat the North. The fear made him sick. That manner that he closed episode 1 with is the manner that I looked at it and I understood that there is a reason why we keep on hearing about Zwide Ka Langa. He was not a joke. And the reason why the South wanted to work together to fight with the North is because of Zwide was so strong in a way that one kingdom couldn't take him down. They had to collaborate and work together so that they can defeat Zwide Ka Langa. So episode 1 was very busy. Episode 1 was a great episode. I did what I can so that I can condense everything. I can just put everything on one video because I didn't want to do part 1, part 2, part 1, part 2, because this is long. To review this, you have to be very focused and also choose the style that you want to review with, simply because of if you do everything cover to cover, obviously it's going to take longer because you have to add certain stuff according to the way you see things, because it is not just war. You see that, the Ndwandwes has a beef with the Hlubi kingdom. And you can also see that the Zulus, they have a beef with the Kwabes. And this is the iron rod that Zwide Ka Langa used to crush heads of those messengers from the Zulu kingdom who were there to apologize for what Senzangakhona did. And I appreciate you guys showing me love and support. This is the first episode of 12 episodes of Shaka Ilembe. Thank you.